right now we do have a high alert stocks to watch list for tomorrow. Each one of these stocks does have potential to possibly go on a nice rip, possibly go on a nice run, and possibly go on a nice play tomorrow. I do want to go through each one of them again and take a chat vote to see which ones that you guys are voting on that could go on the best rip, the best run. As this gives us a great idea of where the mob is at, where the hype's at, where the activity is at. So starting off with our list, I want to go through each one of these plays and talk about why I think they can go on nice big runs. First off, we have OPHC. OPHC, looking at this play, this is the lowest float stock we have. As we know, low float stocks can easily go on rips, easily go on runs. As we could see in November, this stock went from $190 all the way up towards around $14 in the matter of 2 days. This stock does have 50-day moving average right here and also has the 13 EMA. This is basically looking like what? A descending triangle breakout pattern. And when we have a descending triangle breakout pattern, that can lead to very nice pops, that can lead to very nice climbs, that can lead to very nice rips. As you can see, we got our nice big rip, stock starts falling on down, gets squeezed inside this triangle. At the tip of the triangle, we can get our nice pop, our nice play, our nice big profit. So that's what we're looking at over on OPHC right now. If you guys need a little bit of a clearer cut version, basically, again, we would be looking at right here where the stock is falling on down. We have our 50-day moving average moving on up. Stock's getting squeezed inside this triangle, and all this, all this momentum right here is getting squeezed until we get our rip on up. So we are kind of right at the corner where we could get our rip on up. This is the lowest float stock as well. So that is something I want to be focused on. Next on up, we have RELV, which is the second lowest float stock with 750,000 in float. RELV, this is on a squeeze play, just like, again, OPHC on a descending triangle pattern with a squeeze. This also has a squeeze with the 13 EMA at the bottom and the 50-day moving average at the top. If this stock does break, we could be able to run from $4.95 all the way up towards around $6.84, which is about a $2 area, just rounding up. This is, again, a low float play. Definitely could go on a nice rip, starting to get a little bit of volume today. Probably break a 525 tomorrow. Watch for the pop, watch for the climb on this stock. Next on up, we have ORPN. ORPN, this is the third largest float, which actually is the fourth largest float, fourth largest one. OPHC's in first, RELV's in second. NTN is actually a little bit lower in float than ORPN, but ORPN is about 1.8 million in float. Now, with that being said, the stock does have the squeeze pattern as well. It's above the 50-day, but the squeeze pattern is more towards the 13 EMA and the 200-day moving average. What kind of caught more of my attention is if you go to the weekly chart, it looks like RELV kind of you see at the bottom, where again, we have the 13 EMA, 50-day moving average. If we get that nice squeeze pattern, we could lead to that nice rip, that nice run to, who knows how high. So that's what I like about ORPN. Again, going along the squeeze just like it has over on RELV. This is the fourth largest float play out of our list of 5, but still a rather low float stock at about 1.8 million, which is absolutely awesome. Next on up is NTN. NTN, this is 1.1 million in float, 13 EMA at the bottom, 50-day moving average at the top, and we already started a little bit of that squeeze breakout. It does have room to run to go from $4.90 up to $6.37, so about $1.45 to be able to go on that nice rip, to go on that nice run. If a stock goes $1.45, I don't think anyone's going to be complaining here. You have 1,000 shares, you make a little over or just under $1,500. Not too bad at all. NTN, not a bad play. Then on top of that, we have NAKD. NAKD, which is the largest float stock out of our list, which is about, I think it was 8 million, I want to say. Let me double check that for you guys just to make sure everything I say, again, I want to make sure I'm backing it up with statistics. I want to make sure I'm backing it up on a credible reasoning. So the float is 9 million. 9 million in float, but this kind of looks, along the lines of what? This looks along the lines of ORPN. Like, remember when we looked at this one, ORPN, which kind of has the same pattern, which more is above the 13 EMA and the 200-day moving average, 50-day moving average underneath, which means we just have room to run on up. And then we look at NAKD, it's like the same exact thing. So all these patterns have the same exact thing. And then also ORPN on the weekly chart looks like RELV. So RELV, where that one can rip and run. So again, it's kind of like all these patterns are leading into another. Like it's like NAKD looks like ORPN, ORPN looks like RELV, RELV just has a low float and a nice squeeze. And then we also have NTN, which is also basically a day ahead, it looks like, of RELV. So all these patterns are, nice patterns that I like. This is what I like to call 80% reward, 20% risk, because we have a lot of support at the bottom with room to run on up. The only one that's a little bit different, which is still a squeeze pattern, just a little bit different, which would be OPHC, which is not on a bottom squeeze. It's more on a descending triangle breakout pattern with the support kind of in the middle of the chart rather than the bottom. But again, that is the lowest float stock with probably one of the better past chart history patterns, which is why this stock could go on a nice rip and run. These plays that we are going to be looking at today, a lot of them are going to be on a quicker scale, a quicker fashion. They're going to be, really ripping, and if volume doesn't really kind of come behind them, there's going to be very quick selling. Now, that's, again, up to you if you guys would like to hop in on these plays, and depending on how long, you see volume go in on these plays, that's how long, again, you would want to hold these stocks. But you definitely want to be smart with your trading. You want to make sure you're locking in profits when you have them. Again, knowing how to play low floats, you have to definitely use your head. ORPN, that's going to be more towards around $3. So again, at that break, that's where that thing is going to go, like a quick parabolic. What else do we have? NAKD, anything going on? That's a red candle right now. OPHC, anything going on right there? Nothing right there. And that's where we probably want to look. That one's a little tougher, probably again around that 525-ish mark as well. So those are definitely, kind of the top ones we definitely want to be watching and focusing on for, again, the lower float spectrum to possibly get some nice rips and climbs. So I do kind of want to just type those in on the alert box, especially at around, maybe that 10 o'clock mark if, hype does start push on in. And because, again, the chart setup's there. It's just the volume at the moment. Guys, we do have ORPN starting to move, and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to buy here, buying 10,000 shares on ORPN for a nice play and rip. And we are starting to get some hype right off the bat right here on this play. I believe we just got halted right here on this play already on ORPN. So ORPN, big boy move right off the gates right here on this play. Big time momentum. So as you guys could see, huge rip right there. And we did get halted very fast. And all the way up to 320, we went from literally, again, this is how quick these low float plays are. This is how quick, I didn't get all 10,000 filled. I like ORPN just because of what fact? ORPN, this stock right here is, again, we break the $3 mark, which we just broke up to 329. We could see a very nice rips, a very nice runs, a very nice climbs, which is absolutely awesome. And again, look how big we reviewed this. We sat here and we reviewed this and we said what? ORPN, or we said ORPN and we said OPHC and we said RELV. These are the top dogs that you guys want. So that was a huge rip right there. And now we're looking for that, next leg on up, that giant pop, that, next rip. Now, as we know, we're at around 10-minute halts usually. So we got halted at what time? 9:44. So we want to be out of this halt before, 10 o'clock. We want to be out of this halt before 10 o'clock. But a big time rip right there. So awesome job right there. We are having bids up towards 385. Now, guys, what can we remember about this as well? What do we have to say? If the halt is longer than like 10 to 15 minutes, don't hop in on it at the top of the halt. If it's longer than like 15 minutes. If it's not longer than 15 minutes, we have a much better potential to definitely get that nice that nice rip and run. Now, again, if we gap up to like 350, we have potential to run up to like $4 or so. It all depends on volume. It all depends on where the stock's going to be heading on next, and see where the hype's going to be. At the same time, if we open up and all of a sudden, we see a sell-off, obviously don't get in. Use your head. We start seeing some positive momentum, we can break through $4. What's the reason on why we even got in this play? Because of this squeeze right here. This squeeze right here. And if we can break upwards of 350, we can run potentially up to $5, possibly all the way up to $7.50, possibly whatever. That's the reason why this was even on our watch list. Just because of the pure fact of what? Because of the pure fact of this squeeze. And that's the beauty of squeezes. That's the beauty of pops. That's the beauty of rips. So that's what we're looking for on this play. Now, again, if we gap somewhere that's like out of this world, like the $6, don't hop in because then it's going to be a sell-off. If we gap up to maybe like 350, 360, something along those lines, 370, then maybe look to get in if you guys are not in yet to get that next leg on up to get that nice pop. And you guys, we are out right now. We are out looking for the run. Let's see if we get the $4 break. We get the $4 break. We'll be all good, ready to rock and roll. And let's see. So far, so good. Moving on up. So far, so good. Moving on up. Holding at this moment. I definitely want to just lock in a little something as we're going on. But looking for that $4 break. Let's get the $4 rip right here, and that would be awesome. So far, we're holding on up. We'll see if we get that $4 pop. And $4 starting to break. $4. Let's go, baby. Are we got halted again? Get out of here, you level 2. Guys, we are reading stocks like a book. You know, give a man a book right here. We're writing novels. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys. This is getting easy. Let's go. Let's go. Guys, by the end of this trade, I'm going to be butt naked running down the street. And it's snowing out. You're going to see on the news, butt naked kid runs down Hoboken. Who is he? Mystery man. I'm warming up. It's hot. All right. And it just like pumps me up on predictability. That's the thing that pumps me up so much. Like when you predict stocks and you say to yourself, this is a squeeze on a low float pattern. All we have to do is break through $3 and what's going to happen? The thing's going to explode. That's it. That's all we have to say. Literally, we break through $3 and we're going to explode. We're probably going to see another gap up here, and we will see where this volume is going to continue to move on up towards. So probably going to see another gap up, but then it's going to start getting a little bit iffy. So $5 is going to be tough. We break $5, we're off to the races. We don't break $5, lock in some profits. Okay? If you're in at $2.60, $2.70, $2.80, $2.90, $3, $3.10, awesome. If you guys got in at $3.50, if you guys are in at $3.70, $3.80, $3.90, $4, $4.20, awesome. If you guys are not in yet, use your head. Say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll wait for a $5 break. Maybe I'll hop in right away. Maybe just look for a quick scalp. Maybe I'm just going to see how the play is going to go off. The last thing I want anyone in my chat room and my team, in my community, I do not want you guys to chase. I do not want you guys to lose. I'm not telling you guys right here to go buy it to keep pushing the stock up. That's not how we do things around here. I want you guys to be in before rips. Now, if you're late, there's nothing wrong with sitting out and saying to yourself, hey, you know what? Dex got this one. You know what? Dex going to nail the next one. And you know what? I'll hop on with him on that. I don't want anyone to chase here. I don't want anyone to lose here. I don't want anyone to be buying at the top and saying, wow, I don't want any of that. I would love to see this run up to $10. I would love to see this continue to move on up. But at the same time, guys, I want my traders to be coming out on top and understanding the fundamentals about these trades. I'm actually just going to refresh ORPN like this. Hold on one second. Just to get rid of all the numbers so it's very clear. Like a trick I always do is like this. So like I'll just type in whatever. ABC. Boom. So now it's good. So now we go ORPN, and now it's all black. So the moment we start seeing, like, it's easy. Like, easy for me to tell. You know, that's just me. All right, now we're back. Let's see if we get that $5 break. See if we get that $5 break coming up right to $5. And let's see. There's the $5 break already. And we are starting to see hot momentum continue to push on through. I'm going to probably lock in, though. I'm going to lock in. I'm out. That's me. I'm out. But $5 break, you guys are looking for it. But I'm out. I had to lock in. That's me. But there's the $5 break. Let's go. Awesome job so far. I want that thing to continue to run on up. Are we starting to see a little pullback? 450 trying to hold on up, looking for the $5 break. Upwards around 470 right now. Upwards around 470 right now. Okay, $5, third strongest resistance line in penny stocks. If you guys get the $5 break, you'll get that next leg on up, which I'm hoping for you guys. I'm locked out, but here comes again, $5 coming up. 470 right now. Use your head, but let's see, $5. Let's see if it's coming up. I want everyone to win. I want every single trader to win here. I want every single trader to come out on green today. But again, $5, third strongest resistance line, looking for that break. Let's see, 475, 477, 480, 485. Good job. $5, 510, 520, 530, 540, 550. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm done. Do you realize how good you guys are? Do you guys realize how good this community is? Everyone should have banked so far today. Like, again, guys, I want you guys bank. I mean, if you guys didn't trade, don't worry. We're going to nail the next one. I made a smooth $15,000 today. And right now, guys, my small account, I turned a $4,000 account into $57,000 so far. You guys, ORPN looking for that $6 break now. I'm going to go into ORPN and break down the stock from start to finish, talk about everything you want to know on how I found it, how I alerted it, how I got in on it, how we played it, how it was predictable. So ORPN, first things first, how did I even come across this play? Why was it even on my watch list? Now, something we do every single afternoon on Monday or Tuesday is what? We go through our stocks to keep on our back burner. We like to call it our back burner list, or you can call it our weekly watch list. And our weekly watch list is sitting right here on the Dekmar alerts tab, where basically I just post, different notes for you guys. Now, we usually have it in our notepad as well, but at this time it's over in the Dekmar alerts, where I usually put like different links and videos and different discount codes for you guys. So that's been sitting there for a while. What do we do every single week? We go over that, we update it. We look through this and we say, hey, you know what? Is this coming up to an area that we could get a breakout? Is this coming up to an area where we could see some hype? ORPN has been sitting on that weekly watch list for the past 2 weeks now. We found it 2 weeks ago. And how did I find it 2 weeks ago? I went through the high of the day momentum scanner 2 weeks ago, and I turned it to our low float high of the day momentum scanner. So what do I usually do when I look for these research? I show you guys a couple different techniques of how to research stocks. We go through FinViz, we go through the high of the day momentum scanner, we go through the mid candle breakout scanner, we go to lowfloat.com. And what do I like to look for? Well, usually I turn this right to a low float scanner. So what I get out of this filter is I see every stock that's a low float that is going to be hitting some sort of high of the day. So GBR so far hit 5 high of the days today. BNN so far hit 8 high of the day so far. KONE so far hit 4 high of the day so far. AYTU hit 18 high of the day so far. So these are low float stocks that are moving up. And obviously, if I'm looking for a breakout, if I'm looking for a stock that's going to rip, if I'm looking for a stock that's going to climb, if I'm looking for a stock that's going to have that big time potential, I want to look for a low float stock that's moving up. I'm not going to look for a low float stock that's moving down. Moving down isn't going to help me at all. I want to look for something that's starting to round up, starting to get this like U-shaped pattern, starting to get some sort of squeeze. And as I could see, if I just want to put this clear as day right on ORPN on this chart, what am I starting to see right here? Okay, well, I'm starting to see that we have our top resistance. Let's just connect the dots right here. All upper shadows, all upper shadows, like right along this line. That's basically the majority of upper shadow, upper shadow, upper shadow, upper shadow, upper candle, that this is the area where we are starting to get our squeeze, that we're starting to get this pop. Immediately, from the examples that I've been going over, what pattern is this in your eyes? This would be an ascending triangle pattern on the daily chart. So we can look at this right here, and we could say ascending triangle pattern on the daily chart. So we can go to different examples, and we could say, okay, this looks pretty similar. Does it not? We have our clear-cut resistance. We have a triangle that's being formed, and we could see that at the tip of this triangle, we start getting our volume. We start getting our hype. Another example would be right here on the daily chart, where we have our clear-cut top resistance. We're building higher lows into that corner of the triangle, and then we're waiting for the big volume to move in. Once we break that resistance, that's where we get our hype. That's where we get our volume. That's where we get our big time activity. We can also look at another example, which would be right here. Not as clear cut, but you still get the idea that we have our top resistance building higher lows. Break of that top resistance, that's where crazy volume starts coming in. Crazy hype starts coming in. Crazy momentum starts coming in. So overall, ORPN, I was looking at this play because I found it on the high of the day momentum scanner 2 weeks ago. So that means about 2 weeks ago, I'm going to say somewhere probably like on this day, probably on like January 5th. Right now, again, it is January 17th. So probably January 5th when it had this spike, that's when it popped up on the high of the day momentum scanner. And so every single afternoon, I go through each one of these. I look to see if there's a pattern that's starting to develop, and I stumbled upon ORPN. I started seeing on ORPN that we had clear-cut top resistance, and we started building a higher low. Okay, we have a higher low here. We start coming on down. Okay, we have a higher low here. So if I want to scroll back just to this day, I don't know if I can get it exactly, even right here, I could still see that we have our bottom support area right here, and I could see that we're building some sort of higher lows, like right along these lines. So immediately I'm saying to myself, okay, you know what? I have a 1 million in float stock building higher lows on an ascending triangle pattern. Let me write that down. Doesn't mean it's going to break out tomorrow. Doesn't mean it's going to break out the next day, but let me write it down. For what? For when it starts climbing higher and higher and higher and higher. Now, chart pattern is only part of it. When we find a good chart pattern, that's great. But something we have to remember is what? That we can't go after a stock unless our indicators are with us. Chart pattern is only 50%. If we don't have the indicators with us as well, that's when the stock's just going to fall. And as you guys could see right here, what do we have? We have the indicators climbing with the stock. So we're above the 50-day moving average today. Today's the first day that we're above the 50-day moving average, this blue line, that we're above the 13 EMA, this green line, and we're above the 200-day moving average, which we're above this line. Before we were below the 13 EMA. Okay, we broke it. Then we're above then we're above it. Now we're below the 50-day. Okay, we broke that. Now we're above these two, but still below the 200-day moving average. Yesterday was the first day that said, hey, you know what? We're above 1, 2, 3. We're considered bullish for the first time in how many months? At least all the way back in July. So since July, this is the first time that we're considered bullish on all three indicators. Now, you can also say to yourself, Dek, we also have a little bit of a squeeze right here. Just like the ascending triangle pattern that we're looking for what? We're looking for these nice squeeze patterns where, what do we have? We have triangles. I always say, who's your best friend in the market? U-shaped patterns and triangles. So we have our U-shaped pattern. We have our triangle. That's right here. And what happens? We get our nice squeeze, our nice pop, our nice rip. Triangles are your best friends. Where do we have a triangle right here? We have a beautiful triangle, setting itself up on the daily chart. And if we want to look at this, where would our triangle be? 13 EMA right here, 13 EMA right here. And then we also have 200-day moving average coming down right here. So we have this triangle where the stock is going up, comes on down, up, comes on down, up, comes on down. All this is getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter until boom, we get that rip right there. Okay, so we have the daily chart just out of the stocks. We have an ascending triangle pattern. On the daily chart, out of the indicators, we have a triangle. And now if we go to the weekly chart, what else do we have? We also, on the weekly chart, once this loads on up, over on ORPN, stockcharts.com, give us a little load right here. Here we're good. We have a beautiful triangle with a 13 EMA coming up to the bottom, 50-day moving average coming down towards the top, and we have a nice squeeze pattern right here. And look at, over the past weeks, these are the weekly scales. We have a volume here, volume here, volume here, volume here, volume here, volume here. So every single day we're having volume increase. Every single day, every single week, volume's getting hotter and hotter and hotter until eventually we get to this tip and we get that explosion and we get that rip and we get that climb and we get that pop. So we're not only seeing an ascending triangle pattern on ORPN on the daily chart, not only are we seeing a weekly triangle pattern and we're not squeezing, not only are we seeing a daily chart that we're bullish above for the first time, in the last 6 months, that there's no resistance above us. Same exact thing on the weekly chart as we were just looking above. Once we get above that $3 mark, like once we get above 275 here, we technically on the chart, we're good to go. Look at the $3 mark. When we break $3, is there anything in this zone that's stopping us? No. So once we break to this zone, we're good to go. We're golden. The stock technically could go from $3 to $40. There's nothing in this area that's holding it back. So the moment for the first time, okay, look at this. We have not been above this 50-day moving average in how long? 2018, 2017, 2016. Last time we did break it, it went on about a $20 rip. Just for a second, it broke it, went on about a $20 rip. This is basically the first time we are above the 50-day moving average in about the last 3 years. So that's a big move. Psychologically speaking, getting above this line is huge. That we're above this area for the first time in the last 3 years. And that's how we're bringing in so much hype. And that's why we're bringing in so much momentum. And that's why we're bringing in so much big time potential. Just because of the fact that we are breaking these very strong resistance lines. I want to put the high of the day momentum scanner back to normal for anyone who's watching that right now. I don't want to cover up the screen because I know it's still morning trading hours. But at the same time, guys, let me get this level 2 back for you guys. At the same time, it was looking at that low float. It was looking at the chart pattern. It was breaking resistance lines that we haven't been able to break for years. And that's what really got a lot of attention towards this play. And that's why I really like this play. And that's why I was saying to myself, hey, you know what? This is on watch. So how did I find it? I went through the high of the day momentum scanner. I found it about a week and a half ago. I put it on our back burner list. I saw that we had the ascending triangle pattern. I saw we had a triangle on the daily chart. And on top of that, on the daily chart, this is the first time we've been bullish on all three in a very long time. On top of that, when we went to the daily chart, or the weekly chart, excuse me, we broke above the 50-day moving average, which we haven't been above in about 2 to 3 years. These are resistance lines. Where do we buy resistance lines, or where do we buy stocks? At the break of resistance lines. Because when a resistance line breaks, that's where big time momentum moves in. And as you guys know, resistance is breaking up into 3 parts, which is natural, which is detailed, and also chart history. So if we kind of sum that up, where are we looking at? Detailed. Detailed is the indicators, or the open, the high of the day, low of the day, previous high, 52-week high, 52-week low, different indicators, and seeing that, okay, we are breaking these indicator resistance. That's where psychologically we are going to have a strong move, because traders are thinking to themselves, wow, we have not been able to break this mark in the last 2 to 3 years. Wow, we have not been able to see this hype, push through in the last 2 to 3 years. And that's why we've had such a big time rip and such a big time climb on the stock. So let's talk about the actual day today on this play. Let's talk about what we have been seeing. Let's talk about, the hype that came through on this play. Now, what do we know about low floats? And when I teach you guys about low floats and the characteristics about low floats, what is something huge on this? Something that is absolutely huge is that these low floats don't spike till about 9:45, 10 o'clock. Why don't they spike at 9:30? They don't spike at 9:30 because people focus on the pre-market top gainers. The pre-market top gainers that are up 50%. The pre-market top gainers that came out with news, that came out with agreements and partnerships and contracts in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, anything along those lines. So a lot of the times at the start of the day, people focus on news, and they want to see if news is going to take over, and if that news is going to go on a nice rip, and if that news is going to lead towards these type of spikes and top gainers. But once nothing was going on today, once people said, literally there's nothing. Like we sat here for the first 15 minutes and we said what? We said, nah, there's not really too much going on. And the news isn't really doing it. So what do we go over to next? We go to our chart patterns. And that's the mindset that everyone thinks. Okay, news first, chart pattern second. Because news could definitely bring in hype. News could definitely bring in momentum. News could definitely bring in hype. Everyone wants to look at news because that could bring in the big time volume. And as you know, volume equals activity, activity equals profit. But once the news didn't do it justice, everyone says, okay, well, I'm hungry. I'm eager to trade. I want to trade. I didn't wake up and come here for nothing. So what do people say? Okay, well, let's look for a chart pattern setup. Hey, you know what? ORPN has a beautiful chart pattern setup. And that's when we started seeing volume creep on through. We saw one order go through up towards around 270. Then we saw a lot more. Then we saw a lot more. Then we saw a lot more until we broke $3. And once we broke through $3, it was showtime. Now, there's different ways, of course, that you guys can get into ORPN. There's different ways that you guys could try to buy the stock. There's different ways that you guys could try to get into this play. The different ways that you guys can get into this play, obviously, are market order, and of course, that you guys can get on your limit orders. Now, how did I get out of ORPN? I got out of it with 1 limit order, and I got out of it with 2 market orders. Because again, I had 9,900 shares, so I didn't want to just dump 9,000 shares. That's not the right way to do it. I wanted to break it up in about 3,000, increments. That's what I really wanted to look for. I wanted to look for just, nice little areas that I was able to, get out of this play and be able to still see the stock move on up. Let's say if I sold 9,000 shares, the stock could have easily lost momentum. So as a trader, you want the stock to keep moving on up. You want to kind of get out and kind of scale your way out. Also, scaling your way out does what? It protects your profits. Where I get out, let's say 3,000 shares, then you know what? It keeps moving up, and then I get out 3,000 shares. Okay, then it keeps moving up, then I get out 3,000 shares. So if it ever turns, I already locked in a lot of profit. Getting in on this is the same way. You could do it on increments, or again, you could just kind of throw your money all in at once. Now again, throwing your money all in at once is a little tough. Why? Because again, if you throw your money all in at once, it's going to really jump the whole entire stock up, which could make it kind of rip too fast. And then on top of that, guys, it could just dump right on off. So if I try to buy, let's say 9,000 shares right at the start, and I go 9,000, boom, what's most likely going to happen? With the spreads that it has and not many sellers yet, not too many people involved, it's going to shoot on up. I'll be buying, I'll get filled probably at like 328. And then everyone who's at 328 are just going to say, what? Okay, well, this guy's a loser. I'm just going to like take his, trade. Yeah, I'll get out now when I'm up a ton of money, and it's just going to dump on me. So if you guys want to buy bigger shares, what do? go for, again, like 3,000 increments or 2,000 increments, because you don't want to get caught up at the top and you don't want the stock to just jump straight up just to come right back on down for you. So you definitely want to use your head while trading and say to yourself, okay, you know what? I want to get in on this play, but how can I not affect the stock? How can I say to myself, I want to get in as many shares, and at the same time, I want to, be in at smart areas. Like even if I just market order, I could get in at 75 cents higher than what I wanted to. So when I have no problem with market orders, no problem whatsoever, I use market orders literally 95% of the time. You have to be smart on it. If you want to buy big shares, you have to kind of slowly grind your way in, which could literally just be you if you want to, just going like this. A lot of times, this is sometimes what I do as well. I'll go to ORPN. I'll go over to ORPN right here. I'll type in 1,000 shares, and I'll just keep clicking. Buy. Oh, whoops. Let's not do that. That almost came up. I'll just click. Okay, I'm going to move my mouse off it a little bit, but I'll just click buy, 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 buy. So I'm like constantly buying, at the ask. It's not going to jump, 10,000 shares and fill me all the way up here. So sometimes if I want to get like 10,000 shares filled, I'll just click buy, give it a second, buy, give it another second, buy, give it another second, buy. Because within that second, other traders are going to pop up and sell. So if I try to buy 10,000 shares right here, I would fill 429, 429, 430, 431, 432 I'd probably get up to, which again isn't too bad because there's actually a lot of people. Let's go over to RELV, which is one of our other options today. So RELV, which is another option. Imagine I bought 10,000 shares here. I'm getting filled at 529, 529, 560, 561, 562, probably all the way up towards like 582. I'm probably, this stock's going to shoot over $1 just because my order. So I don't want to do that. So a lot of times I keep it small and just kind of give it like the rapid fingers, because once the stock, it starts getting some activity towards it and there's some attention, people are going to pop up constantly and look to sell. So instead of just having like a huge order, it's good to sometimes just go, okay, buy 1,000, give it 5 seconds, buy 1,000, give it a second, buy 1,000, give it a second. And before you know it, you'll be up to what you like. That's just one strategy. Another strategy is, again, do a limit order, do a buy stop order where when it comes up to it, place it nice and first, be one of the first ones to set your order, maybe up towards $3. It'll hit $3, get filled. The only problem with this is sometimes it does get skipped. So how did I get in with mine? I was doing, again, a little bit of the rapid fingers, but I was doing about 3,000 shares or 2,500 where I was going buy, give it a second, buy, give it a second, buy, give it a, and I got in at the areas that I wanted to right below $3, and $3 went on a nice big rip. I was set in the hold, got a nice gap up, came out of the gap up, which was absolutely awesome on a strong note, got halted again, came out of the gap up on a nice strong note, which is absolutely awesome, then started ripping again. So the toughest thing I know about these plays, toughest thing is getting in on these plays, 100%. Because what's the problem? Everyone says, yes, I'm in, I did it, I got on this play, or people are going to say, dang it, I couldn't get filled. Dang, I missed it. So, and what's the worst feeling in the world? Where you prepare, where you know it's going to rip. On the alert box today, what did we have? We had RELV for a possible play, and we had ORPN for a possible play. Those are the only two stocks that you guys should have been focused on today. And, I know it gets a little frustrating when you see, okay, ORPN, that's the stock that's going to rip. That's the stock I want to play. And then all of a sudden it starts ripping and you're like, wow, like I missed it. And that was the stock that I was literally watching the whole time. It's just, you have to be ready. And something that a lot of people don't do is they don't type everything out already. And I tell you guys this every single day, especially if you guys are new. So let's say, you open up your E-Trade account and let's say it automatically goes to a default. And you see like, okay, your default's on ABC. What's the first thing you should do every single morning? Okay, what's Dek's favorite play? Or what is my favorite play? Like your favorite play. Immediately, again, I don't use hotkeys. Type everything out the way you want. So me, I'd go OPRN or ORPN, and I would say, okay, I want to get in 3,000 shares right here. Okay, I'm going to market order. Okay, I can have it on auto or ARCA, whatever I want. Okay, I'm all set. Because what's a huge problem I see? Dek, how do you get in on these plays so fast? Dek, how do you a lot of times I just market order in. But the thing that a lot of people are missing out on is the fact that they don't type anything out. So they see, okay, ORPN's ripping. And now they're just like, okay, RPN, geez, okay, oh, wow, okay, how much money could I get here? 500 shares, okay, let me check that out. Okay, 5, okay, and now, okay. And it's like you just wasted 15, seconds, which you're going to miss this whole entire first run. Have everything pre-typed out. And all you have to do is click this one button. That's all you have to do. Just click that button and then you're good to go. So why did we pick ORPN over RELV? How did we start to say to ourselves this morning, okay, OPRN or ORPN is a better play than RELV? Because RELV, when we look at this pattern, right, look what we have right here, ORPN. Remember this pattern, right? Now, if we look at on the daily chart over towards RELV, on the daily chart over towards RELV, what are we starting to see? We see basically the same exact pattern, almost the same exact pattern, where we have our 13 EMA at the bottom, 50-day moving average coming at the top. Again, that's a triangle. That's that nice triangle squeeze. And I want you guys to be able to see this. And it's a delicious pattern where we have the bottom right here. We have the top that we haven't been above, the 50-day moving average. So we have this nice triangle forming. And that's where we wanted to see what? The hype kind of come in and push this stock on up. That's what we wanted to see. We wanted the hype to come on in, push this stock on up, start getting some nice hype towards it. So let me go back to the weekly chart right here so you could see kind of the similarities. And these are, typical patterns that I typically like to look for. Where again, we have our bottom, we have our 50-day at the top, 13 EMA at the bottom, and both these plays we're looking for the squeeze. Both these plays we're looking for the squeeze. So you can see it's the same exact thing. Same exact thing as we have our bottom, 50-day, looking for the squeeze, a nice rip. The thing I like about ORPN is, first off, we don't have the 200-day moving average. There's nothing to hold this up. If this stock ripped, it could get up to 685 before, probably turning back on and down. This one could run all the way up to $40 without turning back on down. On top of that, what did we see this morning? RELV has what? This is like a 53-cent, spread. So that means if one person buys the stock, it's going all the way up to 529, which is a pretty hefty jump, and scares people away because of that spread. If we look at OPR or ORPN, having trouble with that, ORPN, what are we seeing? This morning, it was only 4 cents. Right now it's 4 cents. I would much rather play a stock that has a 4-cent spread rather than a stock that has a 50-cent spread. So ORPN has been a very solid play today. It went on a massive rip. It went on a massive pop. It went on a massive climb. How did I get in? I just did market orders all the way on up on this play. We saw it break $3. It started getting that nice big attention, nice big volume. It had the gap up. Came out of the gap up on after the halt and then ripped again. Got halted again. Had a gap up. Ran all the way up to $5. Why at $5 they start having a little trouble? $5 is the third strongest resistance line in stocks. Came back down. Then what happened? Ripped all the way up to $6. This spike was not just straight up, straight down. This spike started at 9:45 and lasted all the way up to 10:17. That's a long spike. That's a 30-minute spike. There is so much time to get in. There's so much time to get out. There's so much time to play multiple times. And what really, again, fires me up about this play, what really makes me super happy is not, again, the profit that I made today. I'm super happy with my trading. I'm super happy with how today turned out. I'm so excited to see everyone make, just massive, massive bank, which is awesome. I made $15,000, as you guys know. This was one of my biggest trades, one of my bigger trades, of course, where we have ORPN, one of my biggest trades. I've made about $15,225 or $23 in just 45 minutes. That is amazing. And the power of the stock market. The power of the stock market is I'm 24 years old, and in 45 minutes, I made over $15,000. But what fires me up more than that is seeing that you guys are making money. Seeing that you guys are absolutely banking. Going through Profits Chat, as we already said, it's just absolutely insane. I've been seeing so much money so quickly from the team. M. Thakar, $3,740. Everyone, Jay Burns, $9,000. Jay Trades made $20,000. Logan, $557. Every single person here. Lehman, $4,200. Trader Sam, $4,000. Ashton, $1,000. Virchin, $8K. There's J Trades with his $20,000. Armot, $2,600. Even the little guys, $160, but that's no problem. Stephanie, $680. Sheeble, $1,300. Chamix, still learning, but hey, not bad to still learn and make $1,100 profit. And it just, keeps on going and keeps on going and keeps on going. And that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And I absolutely love it. We're just seeing team after team member after team member absolutely bring the house down. So I am so pumped. I am so excited for you guys. This was a pattern that we talked about yesterday. This was a pattern that we've been talking about the past 2 weeks. It was a pattern that we talked about this morning. It was a pattern that we talked about in our morning newsletter as well. As you guys know, every single day I send you guys a morning newsletter. It goes straight to your email. We went over this on the stocks to watch last night. Back burner plays. We went over this this morning in our email when we do our market briefing every single day. And we said, these are definitely the top stocks that you guys want to focus on. These are the top stocks that I want you guys to really be watching. And again, that's right here in our Wednesday morning newsletter, chart setup ORPN. 1 million in float stock that is slowly climbing, which also has a nice squeeze from the 13 EMA, a 200-day moving average. It's above all indicators, which makes it bullish and able to run. What I really like about this play is the weekly chart break of $3 as blue skies ahead. So that is absolutely awesome. Also, I try to give everyone a heads up on Twitter last night. Now, I was giving everyone a heads up on Twitter last night. I've even had some people, be like, I don't see anything in these stocks. High alert stocks for tomorrow. OPHC, RELV, ORPN, all low float squeezes, watching for 10 a.m. hype, OPHC, RELV, ORPN. And that is an absolute great thing to see. I'm trying to keep everyone alert. I want every single person to win. I want every single person in this chat room to win. I want every single person that's even listening to go ahead and win. Again, January is 100% free. I just want to show the world how great Dekmar Trades is, how great this community is. We're over 1,000 people now, and to see every single person just bring such nice profits that traded this today, it is absolutely a great feeling. It is an absolute satisfying feeling. I'm so proud for everyone that works so hard on this, that has been working their ass off in the video library every day, that have been coming into chat every single day to do research, even the days that we haven't been trading, to come out on top, to be a community that's not just random spam, that's not just random, hey, buy here, but actually gives you an education, actually shows you guys the right way to trade on a credible level and show you how to predict the market and be a consistently profitable trader. So awesome job. Enjoy it. Enjoy those profits because you guys absolutely deserve them.